Hey, this is John Trout here again on my 10 acres. We're back out here at the row of crabapple trees that we have planted along the road front here. In an earlier video, I think I commented that I've got about 75 to 80 crabapple trees planted along the roadway and then down along the property line. I bought these from the state nursery. Now these are not, this one's grafted over, and this has been a subject of other videos, and here you can see the grafts. These are Liberty grafts. You can see the healing right there. Doing great. But these are seed grown crabapple trees. Now the difference between these crabapple trees and the crabapple tree that you're going to buy at the big box store near your house is that those are grafted varieties. The reason they're grafted is for disease resistance mainly, and for some fruit. Some cultivars are grafted to keep the trees with a rather small fruit or no fruit so they don't muck up the driveway. Look at this. It is October the 7th. This crabapple tree is flowering. If you can explain that one. A flower and crabapples in the same shot. Anyhow, seed-grown crabapples. These were purchased from the state nursery. Just like your children, these crabapples will all be different. Some will have larger apples than others. Some will have a tartar apple, a sweeter apple. Some are going to be smaller than others, more of a dwarfing rootstock. My project, of course, out on the roadway, is every other one I'm going to graft over to an eating variety of apple. It's pretty noisy out here tonight. We've got motorcycles, lawnmowers, and combines, and grain bins, and it's fall for sure. I'm going to graft every other one of these trees over to an eating variety, and eventually the crabapples in between will come out. But the project for this fall and next spring is to find, if I can, decent crabapples that I can graft on to the row of trees that are heading back that way, that we're going to walk here in just a minute. Now why would I want to do this? Because I've already got the trees back there, crabapple trees. Why would I want to graft them over? Well, it's my understanding that crabapples make pretty decent cider, a cider blend. They help to spruce up a rather dull cider. And should I make an apple cider with a Jonathan apple, perhaps some of these crabs can help spruce that up a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is sink my teeth into this crabapple, suck out some juice. Very tart, but sweet. Definitely wouldn't want to eat it by itself, but I could see that being blended and making a fine cider. And here you'll notice a deer track, so the deer know it's here too. And there's no doubt that these are for wildlife. That was the original intention when I planted these. But what I'm going to do with this tree is I'm going to collect scion wood from it this winter, and I'm going to graft it on to some of the other trees that don't have the crabapples that I want, and get more of this type. So this fall I've decided to come down through here and mark the trees that I want to graft and the trees I don't care to keep going. Look, you can see how small that crabapple is. That's really not going to benefit me at all in cider making. Not going to help attract deer, although other wildlife, surely. Birds and small animals will eat those small apples. This one has a very small apple on it. This one has a golden apple. That's really pretty. It might be worth keeping just for that. Or grafting over. Now we're going to walk down this direction. This is the other row of crabs heading back to the sun. To the woods back there. And I've come through here already and marked the trees I want to keep. Marked those same trees so that I can come back and collect scion wood from them. Here's one. You can see the size of those apples. Again, they're sweet, they're tart. Would help with a good cider blend. And I could take our scion wood from that tree. And what are we going to do with this one, Mr. Texas Prepper? We are going to saw it off right there next spring. And we're going to put some of that scion wood in there. And make another one. Now look at this one. A small red apple on this tree. Look at the size. Nice, beautiful. Beautiful for wildlife, for deer, and great for cider. And there goes a deer right there, and my dog is after it. I don't think I got the deer on camera, but little wonder why the deer was here. Okay, and here we head down the row. It's late in the fall. A lot of these have lost considerable foliage. Some of them still have a lot of it. This tree's just loaded with crab apples, but look at the size, really small. But it might be worth keeping one like this that fruits so abundantly for small animals. And there's another one, just full of small fruits. But predominantly, I want to get the larger sized apples on these for deer and cider. Now this one has a large yellow apple. Let's see, I can't recall. I think I probably did taste them. The tree's marked. Let's see here. That's sweeter than the last one. Not as tart. I could eat that apple, no doubt. That's going to be a deer attractor. This one is loaded with an apple, crab apple, just a little smaller than that last tree. Still a decent size. Now, these are all going to be grafted. That's over. I did mark this one. I can see a mark over there. It's got a smaller yellow apple on it. That one's loaded with a small red fruit. Now that's probably not an apple that I want to make cider with. Just too small, too troublesome to pick. This one has a very small yellow apple. Now this one would be ideal for wildlife. Perfect for small game. Birds especially would appreciate that one. Anyway, that's about the end of the line here. We go back to the woods. So, again, my intention. I've identified these crab apples that have the nicest apples on them as far as size goes. And I'm going to graft the others over this particular variety. Every fruit is mummified. So this is going to be one that gets grafted over. No point in keeping a variety like this around. We're going to graft the better varieties onto the others that aren't producing the larger fruit that might make a good cider. Certainly going to make good deer food. And That's about the extent of what I have to tell you, and that's going to be our project next spring when we get started again out here with the grafting. I won't get them all done next spring. There's a crabapple up in my yard. I don't remember the variety. It's a box store variety. It has a nice size red apple that is very good tasting. I've made cider with it. It is very good. So we're going to wrap it up with that. This video's gone sort of long. I probably bored you. But, that was a good apple right there. Probably the best of the bunch. Of the 100 crabapple trees I planted, this is probably the best one of the bunch. Thanks for watching.